So that we know each other. You know, I'm from this clan, I'm from this religion. We know each other. And we don't join with the other people of the other side. It consisted of very many members, and they had their children. They are now mature people. And another organization also came up and said, let's also begin ours. Since you've known each other and you don't need us, and the other ones don't need us, what did we do wrong? It was called tukafachi, or what did we do wrong? But all those were coming out of disunity among the religions, disunity in clans. May I want to thank you for accepting the Spirit of the Lord to use us and preaching the word of the Lord as a one person. I want to appreciate my lovely wife. I call her Tangaza. I really call her Patience. Leadership styles. When you're learning about emiringo y'obwebembezi,
she is supposed to be an introvert.
Ashemerire kuba ari omuntu orugita rwagati.
Ashikire kuba ari omuntu orukwenda kuguma wenka,
orukwenda kuba wenka,
atari kujwara abantu,
otarukwegita mu bandi,
atari kukwatana hamabega,
not even helping one another.
Konko muntu oine omusingi narishi depth y'amani munonga.
But someone who has a very deep depth. But the Lord seeks those. Those who are introverts, who are not understood. Those who don't want to join with other people.
Master's degree nebindi.
Those who don't have masters and degrees. And says, go and do my work.
Well, there is God telling you to do something, but there is accepting to do it.
For patience, you I thank you so much, because this Lord was so merciful to me and gave me a wife of all the religious academics that I found in the family of my mother and father. And something is and the way how the Lord has So the reason I was apologizing is because I know we always move together, but she knows that I have a lot of workload, but I know that the Lord who forgives. Now,
nyenda kusima aba paseri, nyenda kusima abana ashanga emyeto yitu ekurwa mu kibina cyitu bagambire nyenda kubasima.
I want to appreciate our youth from Pasaid and all those. And I will not have enough time to explain whatever I wanted to explain. Because CNC has given us just 1 hour to talk about investment. So, because this is God's conference and God's function, it is not the function of Pasaid, but I request that we get another day. a log. And then you turn your spade. You keep on adding in soil so that that wood or log becomes strong when it is standing. So I want us to come and establish more concerning. There was a mad person who burnt the lake and said, if you have not sparked out, but you burn. Are you still understanding this? Runyankolo is becoming complicated. Thank you so much. So, this topic that I'm going to talk about, I think it's a topic concerning leadership. Because I remember my father and mother, when they got born again, 3 things changed in their lives and in their home. So, so my mother and my father and the other parents of Revival used the example. I'm very glad to see that our theme says redigging the wells. You don't know how the meaning of that word in Runyankole. Imagine a well that helped you and you fetched water from there and the cows were taking the same water and the sheep and then it gets engrossed by bad character. It gets blocked by giving birth wrongly. It gets blocked by the systems of the world. Oh, they even chase you away from it. And they bring the other systems that they used to work out well on that well. And for the Lord to uplift a few people that to go and redig the wells, we need to keep to clap hands for that. As the herdsmen, the farmers, we know what it means to take your cattle to drink or to wash clothing. What it means. I thank God for this mission that we are opening the wells. I never began this conference with you, but I kept on talking to my lovely wife. We have come with our hearts open. I'm bringing to fetch water. And requesting the Lord to bring out the water and the sun. Glory to the Lord so much. When our parents got born again, the homes were cleansed. When I speak one word, I feel like 8 others following up. For a home to be right is for a husband not to quarrel with the wife or to slap each other or to fight. For a home to be right is for a man to cut a banana and sells it and tells the wife and fails not to hide that money. For the right home of the home to prepare or boil that drinking water for the children to be safe when they're taking that water.
They became confident but humble.
When they got saved, and now in English, those things they don't go together. When you feel so bossy, you cannot be broken or humble. When you get too humble, they think you're hit by the problems of the world. The kind of hame bwawe bukurugaho.
Ben yo kandi batatana mawa kisasi cyabo no basasirana umwabazi yo bagira ngo urangata kija shamkaga. Yesu ateja shamkaga akashanga nkwinire kiniga nkabura kuzo mu iguru basasirana.
I would see my mother and father apologizing to each other so that the Lord does not come in the middle of the night and they find that they still have that anger and then they find it a challenge.
You are never confident to tell your wife what is inside you unless you're humble.
Tokatungo bumanzi kugambira omukyala wawe kiryo munda yawe waba otari omucurezi ninga orukwendeka.
So ekakwera no kuhingaje no kurisaje no kuombeka amashomero no kuombeka amaramizo ebintu byo nashangira abantu ba Revival no bakora.
For a home to be right is to build the schools, to build hospitals, the churches, to dig and have farms. That's what I found the
Ben hati nyono mugira ngo nyino gundo mbazo gundwenda kubagambira ubwo kufixing omusheija rero ka fixing ense.
You think I have
There is no
any other medication that I have to fix a man. It's the only medication I found and it is the same. After righteousness, the second thing happens in a home.
I grew
up not knowing that in my clan we are the Bweshu. My father refused to tell me until I was 18 years. Because he said a believer never speaks about clans. A child of a born again does not boast in earthly clan. Now, there was two men. They had gone to visit. They met a lion and chased it away. And they met a buffalo. It was injured. It was the poachers had pierced it. He also and a swarm of bees. You know bees, they move together in a swarm. You even feel the sound when they pass by, they fly by. And they were hit by the swarm. They threw away their rods and spears.
Banagamachu mugabo n'enkoni zabo kuba babesherekere bari mu kishaka omwe yabagira ati abuza mugenzi ati beshi katwabinga embogo tukabinga ekicuncu abwenki twahunga omuzinga gwenjoki mbwena hati ondisha mugira ati atenjoki no buntu buke munonga atkonka Osho tstane nanda kurwanisa omuzindaro gwanje mumpurati
Hallelujah.
Atubona hatu wavugana atezu n'enyamesho mpango zamani ekicuncu embogo ne atkonka ko kuvugana obuntu buke kwatanise ngenda hamwe atoyerinde atabake barwando mu ishansha waba burubuke no busingure cyamani.
He said when you meet these small ones, it was meaning the bees, the swarm of the bees they had made. He said they can fight you though they are small. They can win you because they are combined together.
Hatanyenda ngumanye nkoro kubinga nganda wabinga madini twakwatanisa tene kitoro kubasa kusingura mu Uganda twamanyarhanga.
I know when you chase away religions, clans and we join together, there is nothing we can fail to chase away from Uganda. That is the second thing that salvation brought that I found. The third one was homes to be right. It doesn't mean that me not talk about a clan, I don't know about it, but I don't make it a priority.
Tata chanana na mwenda hakarho commercial bank UCB egera rural farmers scheme abantu behayo loan bagura pickup.
In 89 there was a commercial bank, people would get a loan and then they work.
Konka pickup bagira tegera ntasi.
They bought a pickup but it had no any capital.
Konka bagikoresa nko kogiro tunanye hati ngigahe intungiri.
But they would use it like how you can say now I'm also rich.
Tata ya yanga rural farmers scheme pickup yagira tinga tinkwija kujibasa. Tinka basize mutindo gwejo pickup tindu kwenda kweyoreka abo kuba inyemuruko warhanga.
My father refused it, said I am not yet at the level of that. I don't want to show up in the world.
So when
the third thing, when a home is right and you chase away this thing,
confident and humble,
I'm talking to you, gentlemen. The third thing, the Lord gives you leadership. How does he give you leadership? A person who was in Karyangoha, who was a Karyangoha and is not educated, not knowing the rising of the sun or how does he lead a meeting on a sub-county parish?
So many people are young, they don't remember this.
You know, would have a meeting on Monday and call it a baraza. And some men would come and say, we have a chitewuls, that is a Luganda word. And they would ask, who is that one that stole someone's goats? Who is that man that have refused girls to go to school? Who is that son that has impregnated the daughter of so and so?
Bagira abo bana babareta babatera kiboko mu ihangwe ecyaro kigira security kitebekana.
They would get those boys and they come and in the village. Now,
kokuruga kugireka yayera,
when you get a righteous home and you chase away these clan divisions, the Lord gives you leadership. Don't think leadership is for the mayor or a minister, all these top leaders. It comes from your home. It begins from your village. And your children. Those believers use those leadership to open up feeder roads for the cattle to access water. And they hedged their places. They learned how to grow food. My father in the month of July would sell food stuff. And the buyers would come to buy when they are despising and hiding. Because they think that someone with cattle cannot be found. But he would get money, pays the school fees, and fail to sell the cow. Wise, but the wisest one among is the Lord. The fourth one that came, that was not handled well and established, is the income. You know how I always move around like I'm cutting the ground. Because in my days I have 27 hours. Because when with $1 trillion, and our town is fighting for this, and our villages have no capital income. I know the government stops somewhere, and I personally have where to begin from. Right now, income. On the spiritual, touched on the education, and made homes right. But there was some coldness concerning income. Hatom sinjo gwit. Ekitare chitu.
Ekitara nikimanyisa ekitare cyo kuriya ninga ekitare kokoza zembuzi ningente.
Okay.
So ekitare chitu nikirwana munonga.
Our generation fights so much.
Nguturebe buzimazima.
That we make sure that we use the walls that the Lord is trying to open up of revival. Message
president nashwarat natandika ntamusimbira abukuba egi message nwe agitwegesize President Museveni na mama
to confirm the message of revival, and I want to apologize. He's the one, the president, that began this message with mama.
Nyenda kubasima munongo rango kubaraba mu kutereza ihanga ry'obusinge no kutushomesa okuturatwazi.
I want to thank them so much for the Lord to use them to give us a peaceful nation and training us on how we are going to handle it.
Ahubwo kubakunguzoma mahanga gaheru nani shobora hiturigire na hitwahika.
Because when I go in foreign nations and explain where we've come from and how far we've come, I feel very strong and not scared because there are those people that did this work, the organization. So I want this thing of income. It is a thing concerning leadership. And leadership. Jesus taught us. It is bringing out that which is hidden, that is not understood. Sometimes that which is despised.
Undesired reality.
Undesired reality. Or a storm that is turned a road that is undesired. And it is seen by everyone. And again, people.
Kahwe okuyamba n'oruganda okukwera ndw'olunyanko. Hati nyobona inteekateeka ngo nubwo bwebembezi.
May I think that is leadership.
Amakuru gaabo.
The meaning.
Tukugamba gye.
It's not speaking well.
Tukujwara gye.
It's not dressing well.
Tukuba member of parliament.
It's not being the member of parliament.
Ninga LC1.
Or an LC1 chairperson.
Nadi shomwembezi w'ekanisa.
Or a leader of the church.
Ebyo byona nebikuru munonga tindi kubigaya.
All those are important. I don't despise them.
But
leadership
is
digging somewhere. And you dig and you bring out the roots. There are some trees where you dig out the roots and they smell. And you feel the smell of a root, you feel it from the other part. And anyone sees that seriously the problem is here. And then you enable people to know how they are going to solve it.
Description of
a leader. A leader is not a chair. Being the mother of a child, the father is not to push and you give back. Is to nurture a child in the right way. That's being a parent. Therefore, having a chair of leadership doesn't mean that you are a leader. You know, leadership, you scratch it out. You spend the night thinking about it. You ask the Lord to give you a vision that is unique in a secret place. In a very secretive way. And He gives you strength. He gives you wisdom. He gives you courage. So that you don't get tired. Until you bring to pass that which the Lord said that you do. Now because we don't have a factory of leaders, you cannot go somewhere and you feel they are processing a leader. And they say, here he is. No. It's not there. And I even don't know anywhere. And the more we develop as a nation, we keep on getting those that call themselves leaders, but in actual sense they are not leaders.
Braves.
I was looking for that scripture and Paul tells us, but the Lord chose the foolish ones, those of the world, to shame the wise ones, those that are weak, so that he can shame the strong. So now leadership, you scratch it out.
Lekandike kushaza no shoto rumiro abantu barwetegereza ku kiro rwanjyo nyankore mbene karaktejo
mweneje mico ninge mitwarize
ne kuretera okora twaze aboye bembere.
It causes you to know how you are going to handle the people you're leading.
So webembezi no mwebembezi,
so leadership is a leader,
na bebembeirwe,
and those
context.
And what the white man calls context.
Nyowe obwire bwanje obwahindi ensinesha ki ninge ekanisa yanjye ni ekanisa yarahanga ninge kayanje ahimpikire kugita.
In my times, how does my church or the church of the Lord, where am I supposed to take it?
Mbeno mutwe gwanje ni nyine images so bukore ni nkorese ngaro nkabire nyine oruba harho omwebembezi.
There is a leader.
Harho abebembeirwe.
There are those that are being led.
Harho nenchuro yobwebembezi narishi ensokweri.
And then there are terms of leadership or how the system of the world is. So those three, they are the things I want to talk with you as I wind up. I want you to know that every leader, there is where he generates his power from. There is where he generates power from. The believers, we know that power comes. But I want you to know that in leadership, there is one who gets power from people.
Extrovert.
Ogwomurujungu is an extrovert. He wants an immediate action. He wants to be the lead. He wants to work in groups.
Opposite yogo.
The opposite of that person is like my lovely wife I've told you.
Introvert.
Orukubananda bewenka.
Ngambo nimbura kusiaho nyanda ngwinje ngarike tuhatire konkanya nangu wabo tarukwemanye nkomwembezi okwori torkwija kuyamba abandi.
Though I'm summarizing, I want us to establish something so that if you don't know who you are as a leader, you won't help others.
Okuba extrovert.
No manyo kushangiwe nondo boruwenka.
Okuba introvert.
Okushanga nondo kwere nabanda heru ningo ruwenka. It doesn't stop the work of the Lord. It doesn't stop you from leading.
Okuba introvert. Naringo gorkuihamani omunda yorugumana teka atakagambire.
This one who is an introvert that thinks before she speaks.
Reflection.
He needs a reflection. the thoughts. She doesn't reply quickly, powerfully. She wants to work from behind. She doesn't want to lead. So if you are a leader and you don't know yourself, and you want to work in both sides, you may kill the gifts of those that you're leading. The second thing, a leader, how does he get in information? Because information is like the other data that we put in our telephones. We have different entry points as leaders. There is this leader that uses sensing, meaning he wants the things the way they are. He wants to do that which was done by the others. When he encounters a challenge, it's like, how was the other challenge worked on? I want to do the same way. The opposite of that person that does sensing is like how you enter in information every day. Intuition. The opposite is called intuition. Intuition ombanyankore niyegishe kazomutima. A person with intuition, where he sees the problems, he sees an opportunity. When he sees things not in order, he gets imagination. He needs sudden change. Sensing, no intuition. Now the other one of intuition and sensing, I will come and explain more. If you don't know who you are, you're the leader of your church or a family, you end up colliding. I'm saying this so that you don't collide, you know your strengths and how you understand leadership. Before I lead the others, who am I? These gifts were given to me by Jesus, but I have to exploit them out. There were 2 points. Extraversion, introvert.
Sensing, intuition.
Sensing na intuition. I will sit down and I expand more. Thirdly, after getting this information, how do you make your decisions? It is the only way that takes you to your destination. So some leaders make decisions with the feelings. Saying, since I've seen patience today, she has explained well. Has she really slept well? When she now, if she didn't sleep well, I'm using it as an example. Me as the leader, who is the one who is being led, how am I going to work out that? Because there's one who will say that may I use logic, I don't mind whether she slept well or not. May I pick out the things that are not right from the message she has given and I go with those. Thinking, feeling. The other one is a thinking, the first one and the second one is feeling. So among the two, who are you as a leader before you go to lead people? Are you the one who is concerned about how people are or concerned about how you are, whether you're right? The fourth part, The outside people
abatari mu company yawe,
that are not in your company,
abatari mu district yawe,
that are not in your district,
abatari mu kanisa yawe,
that are not in your church.
Iwe no okoraga no tanabo.
How do you work out with them?
Hariho emiringo ebiri y'abebembezi bakoragana n'abantu.
There are two ways how leaders work with
hariho
people.
abebembezi abarikweta judges.
There are leaders that are called judges.
Nibakora conclusions aho naho.
Bano baraka kuchwamu ekyarigamo ekyamuheru.
Okunareba okwajwire n'okwari kushabira nuko biri.
And you say according to how he's dressed and the way how he's looking like, that's how he is.
Konka hariho umwebembezi.
But there is that leader
obarikweta passiva.
who is a passiva. Passiva
nogo
is that one
otari kugendera ha routine.
Who doesn't follow the routine.
Omwena protocol tari kugenderaho.
Or he doesn't follow the protocol.
Konka aronde ekisasi z'abantu.
But he looks for that is hurting people.
Aronde ekibararize kubi.
He looks for that made them not to have sleepless nights.
Agira sense of flexibility.
And he gets a sense of flexibility.
Ahindura plan ze habokwenda ngo abandi bagasurwe hakirahanga muhereza.
He changes his plans so that others can benefit from what the Lord has given him.
Ebintu kubarabaranira berguru.
The things that I'm just summarizing.
Norgaho bakuzika umwota byetegereze.
Sometimes you can die, they bury you minus
understanding.
You may lead people not knowing who you are. Yet your leadership can change people or it can leave them half cooked. If you get to know these points that I've explained to you, you will know how you talk to the ones you're leading. You know how to make out a team and its culture. You know how you're going to manage change and transformation. You know how you're going to remove words. Have you understood me? All things are becoming complicated. Are you understanding me? If you've understood, say hallelujah.
Obwo buntu buno bunabagambera nyenda ngwije mbutaharutambye mu nyankorege hakuba neja ninda kukantabwejegeire ngarike mu bashoborere haza mbakorere na exercise mwerebere buri muntu ayemanye ko ari umubebembezi.
I'll prepare them because I came hurrying so that you understand them very well in Nyankole.
Mbwen hati
right now
obwembezi no mugugu.
Leadership is a burden.
Obwembezi no mugugu.
Leadership is a burden.
Koravuga no mwembezi otene mugugu.
If you meet a leader without any burden,
Bible netugira ngo nikirungi okuvugana ekicuncu cyakirwa abana bacyo umwango kuvugana omushema.
The Bible says it's better for you to meet a lion that has whose lambs or the cubs have been taken away from it.
Kuhindura omushorongo Bible nkanyenda kubagambira ngo kuvugana omwebembezo otene mugugu nembu yobo bugana embogo ebingirwa abantu habokuba nekita mwanya. Because
the Bible says meeting a leader without a burden is like meeting a lion that has no cubs, or a buffalo that is being chased after to be killed. Because leadership is a burden. Because leadership is what? A leadership must come in front of people. And sees beyond where they are seeing. Our people have the word says Oktoga. Oktoga has much strength. It means you've understood something deeply than knowing.
In fact,
you know, in Greek, to know something is called kataraso. It means that you've gone through something and you came back, you understood it before others came to understand it. So the leader of the home, the leader of a church, of Anglican, of a district, of a business, you have to look far as you're leading people. You see where when you sit and you get scared and you spend sleepless nights,
and
it gives you a burden,
it
will not allow you to be proud of boast. It will not allow you to hear the respect. But we give you strength to fight so that the burden the Lord has given you, you've made it come to pass. But when you go before people and you don't know what is behind you, you have to come closer to people. You have to know how they are. You have to hear how the income is. If you are a farmer, you have to know the market of the fish. If you are in coffee, you know the market of the coffee. Or milk. All this that you've heard them talking about, you have to reach people and you know how they are. You know, when you have your goats and you go in this place, you know how it is. Or when the herds have slept well, you know how they breathe. When they are hungry, you can hear how the cows are breathing. You have to go closer to people to know how they are hurting. To know the kind of the gospel that the Lord has put in your burden to give to them. You have to be closer to them, but be very careful not to be infected. Because the more you get closer to them, the more they infect you with malaria. And you forget about the vision that the Lord gave you. You suffer from malaria and you're like, what happened to this man? Now, you need to know that to move forward, to see far, and to hear how people are breathing. Make sure that you know that you're not infected. All those two are enough. You have to go behind them. And you have to do them all at once. In front, sideways, and behind. Behind them, you have to see who has fallen down. Who is walking slowly. Who can take up your steps. Who is going to expand this gospel beyond your no longer there. You will not see them when you're before them or by the side. You have to go behind so that you see them. Leadership is a burden. Leadership is what? Is a burden. Now I have a burden as I want to wind up. I have a burden that makes me lose peace and makes me leave my home for a month, and I've lost some of my friends that I had.
Confident but humble.
Because when you have a burden, you have to be broken. And if you don't have a burden, there is no way how you're going to be broken. That burden, it says that in future, when Uganda is 100 years, 36, 37 years to come, this nation of ours, our food stuff, our minerals, how shall we be looking like? Why am I looking for 37 years that are far? I want me to bring out of today, because very many leaders, if I'm not earning from today, I don't do it. That is a leader who plants on beans. 3 months. If it doesn't work, I will leave it. And then I touch other things. But this one who wants to do something that will take long, the one with the burden that the Lord has broken, You have to look near and then you look far.
Mbweno mugugu wanje nukugira ngo inyoni ntegetega ntubasa kutunga billion mukaga omyaka 5 sententia esurku ihombu mbutur kuguza heru abana baitu batunge mirimo.
I think that in the years to come we can get 6 billion from the money that we get from the products that we sell out, and our children will get jobs.
So when you ndonda emyaka 37 Uganda emyaka igana. Emyaka 37 nakantu kake.
37 years, they are very few years.
Hakuba rwangisiriza tiyo myaka yahati.
Because now the national resistance, those are the years.
Itwa bari ambarira nyuma abaziyo ntumayambara ko yabeneshana hato kweri.
Us who were here in Barra, we know how it looked like before and the current one.
When hatin tuteka ngo 2022 billion igana za dollars zisuru kuihaheru.
So in 2062 we need $100 billion.
Konko myaka 5 ntwenda billion mukaga.
But in 5 years we need 6 billion.
Kandi tuza kuzihomba bihingwa byitu 13.
And we shall get them from our farming products. They had already explained them to us. I will not repeat them. They talked to you about coffee, meat, fish, milk, tourism. Everything there we have a target. A leader has a target always. Even at home, in a district, a company, if you don't have a target, go and think about it. Now, in those 5 years that the Lord has given us, the burden is for us to do 4 things. It is not to go back in market blindly. I have a video clip I will show you. I moved around our nation and I went to those places. I saw how people are taking coffee, where they're getting milk. I visited their restaurants. I saw the competition that is fighting us off the market and how it looks like and what we are doing. We want to have 25 markets so that we can have representatives who will tell us what to drink and eat. And if we don't do that,
President Museveni orwine munonga ngo agire million magana za dollars hati nizo government eri kutaha parish development model buri mwaka.
President Museveni that has fought to bring 400 million for parish development
1.2 trillion shillings.
That is 1.2 trillion shillings.
Ezo mpihani zija kufabusha.
That money will be a wastage if it has no connection with the market. If you grow anything and the way you're going to grow it, and you think that the market is waiting for you, the one whom they have left behind, you know the market has taken off and we are just in our own things. So my burden is to make sure that we open up new markets and we get representatives, we make a research and we go on those nations, even if we are being hated, but at least we make a research and we show that we do something that is going to benefit us. So when you get to the market, it asks for quality, the quality of your food stuff. You know our laws concerning the foodstuffs, so they have spent more than 40 years without being changed. The pesticides that we put in our foodstuffs, the pest that we use to spread our cows and cattle, and those ones
President Museveni na team ye bekirize ngo tukore kiragiro kishya cy'ibyo kurya kigire kitongera embaziyente eyo byo kurya oburungi bw'ibyo kurya dushijumirwa ahantu hamwe.
We found
mpora ntujya kushikayo.
The rules governing those foodstuffs were done in 1962 and they had never been changed. But the president has allowed us that we can make a change so that we change on the quality of the foodstuff. Those markets that I'm telling you, I just don't go alone. I find the representatives waiting for me. Those ones. Different friendships of Uganda that are being paid, they are not being paid for, but they know the value that we put in. When you get a market and a good quality standard, you need to reach in the market immediately at a very low cost. That's why you heard Alan talking about infrastructure. You know, the airplanes, the railway lines. You know, those ships that were no longer working. That's what is giving us sleepless nights, because when you try to touch here, you find something is lacking, it's not yet being done. So now, those three, when you add on one last thing, this one of getting the public funding with the low interest so that we can export our products. When a person gets an order of eggs from Goma,
a trade representative Congo, he must take
that order to a commercial bank or Stanbic, and they give him money at a high interest rate.
They too abantu ba Poland abar kureta mahuru huriwa bareta mahuru gajagahika Congo garia sentezans kukizezetu.
But people who bring in eggs from Poland, they bring it at a low rate up to Congo.
Aba Brazil barikwata ebyenda byente babitomu mere babireta Congo ha sentezans kukira enyama yitu.
Imagine the Brazilians, they also bring those offals of the cow and they bring them in the nation of Uganda.
Bareta Congo.
They bring them to Congo at the market that is closer to us.
So when korkuba ekyo nikiretwa okutageraho kwihe sente za hansi ezo kureba ngwezo odaza abantu batunga twatungira abatsiga zabo esente nabo bashubura.
That one becomes because we have the low rates of money to help those men so that they can also be able to go and export their products.
Mbwen hati tuine kitongore ekitandikirwe ekintu kushabira ngo kiberu iguga ekirarije mu banka nyensi yarahanga kunzire ya abanya-Uganda barikwenda kushubura heru ekitongore iki kitandikirwe kine hope sente hatu
now there is a company that have begun, and I pray that it also continues to grow so that it can help these young youth that want to do exports in other nations. Because leadership is it doesn't mean that you're going to put on anything new. But if you get a torch and you turn around that which was not in order and they become right and they're seen, you bring to pass the work that the Lord Jesus did for us. Training your people to know so that they don't die because of ignorance. So those four things. That's what you've heard.
Chairman wa LC5 Kamuri.
Katejele was a chairman LC5
Kamuri.
Telling us to start consortiums. Those are the consortiums will come out companies that will export products out. those consortiums of coffee, tourism, of milk, the processed one. Consortiums will be the only way out to give those youth money for exports. And with those consortiums, when they keep on growing,
tuba twinamo sente zo kuhereza abasigaza ngo babahereze raw materials zo gukoresa hero.
And like how you had me telling you about those blacks ones that are in other foreign countries, that's where they get a way how to start those factories to process tea, to process all these products.
Mbweni nyanda ngo ndekeraho abantu manaturaho.
So I want to wind up from here. I've taken home. I want to request you two things.
Personal responsibility.
Obujunanizibwa
bw'omuntu.
And as a leader, where the Lord has positioned you as a leader of the family, as an MP, as an LC1, or as a religious leader, where the Lord has positioned you, search out for the gifts that He has given you, understand them, so that we don't waste time. Because such a day will never exist. If you squander it without learning anything, you will never grow young again. If you are 50 years, you've now added 1 day of reducing years. So let's be together in harmony, because we don't have a lot of years in this world. And those who reached very many years, they are very few. Many elder people that are in 97 years, 98 years, but you who is still strong here, and you've had this message for the 4 days that you're going to spend here, go and put it into action. And fear go and teach it to others. The word science in Roman, omuroma, it has 2 words. It means that if you have a seed, people are you know, you feed all, you don't know which one is going to. Don't fear to feed people the word that the Lord has given you. The Lord removes brokenness, all the pain that is in your heart that you came with. The Lord chases away poverty. The Lord chases away ignorance. And the Lord chases away things that are not right. But we have to be broken for Him. And if we are broken for Him, and He gives us that tablet, let's use it well. And we We cast and establish the word of the Lord.
tushakare enju ya ruhange hame.
We roof the house of the Lord and it gets established.
Abashakarize ibinyatsi twatugira ngo ugire mikono eshatu ahanju.
You know us the Banyakore who used to grass such houses.
Otahubwo kubanza injura ne kutera.
We would use you put for the first time and it rains.
Otahubwo akabiri umuyaga nugurabo mu kinyatsi.
You try to put for the second time the wind goes through.
Bagira ngo enju yagihendera.
And so when you put the grass for the third time they say you finished the roofing.
Nyenda mu kishane abatsigazi banje ari kishane kinanteraho nyenda mu kintereho ncyore cy'abantu abo.
There is a certain image that I wanted to show to people.
Hajiro wantera kishane cyo Victor. Ekishane cyo.
That image
cyabani cyoreka
was showing
abayirkanji
the runners or
athletes.
When the athletes are going to start to run like in Kacheka Stadium.
Starting blocks.
There is what we call starting blocks. Have you seen that image? When athlete is going to run, he comes like from behind where we are and steps slowly. And puts these elbows down.
Set.
And when an athlete is going to reach there, he will have done a lot of things.
Those starting blocks require preparation.
No manyobo butandikiro nubwetenge ntebekanisa.
Nyenda kusima rango kutuhereze eju week kutupreparinga kuturaze kwirukanga mairo yitu tugabwe turready.
I want to thank God for giving us this week for preparation so that as we're going to
starting blocks
we go on the starting blocks when we are empowered
confidence
and we have the confidence. Because when you see an athlete coming, you see him coming peacefully. Sometimes you see them with headsets, they are ready. They are always calm because they have sat and prepared. So I want to thank Mzee and Mama for the Lord gave them that time and they did their work as athletes. For their works and our families. I want to thank the revivalists. They also had their journey. And our soldiers, the Lord gave them their race. Because where there is no stability, we cannot make any other investment. There is no one who goes in those starting blocks minus preparation. I request. We are going to start the race. The spirit. And in spirit, in our homes, in our economies. Don't go in those starting blocks when you're not ready. Leadership is a preparation. That's when you're going to manage the battle that the Lord has given you. Thank you so much. God be with you.